One of the major topics we're going to be talking about today are the latest bans from the Securities and Exchange Commission, namely their attack on staking services on the crypto exchange Kraken and their lawsuit that is ordering Paxos Trust Company to stop issuing Binance's stablecoin. Is this crackdown the end of crypto? Be sure to watch the whole video to get up to speed with the latest cryptocurrency headlines. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan and welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Cryptos. So crypto exchange Kraken got slapped with a hefty fine from the Securities and Exchange Commission about 2 weeks ago to the tune of $30 million. Not exactly chump change. But why? It has become increasingly apparent that the SEC is not a fan of staking. For those unfamiliar, the basic definition of staking is when you agree with an exchange to lock up a certain amount of your crypto. You do this for a promised rate of return or yield. For example, on Coinbase, you can stake your Cosmos and receive 6.12 annual percentage yield. Not too shabby. Other exchanges promise more lofty returns, allowing users to lock up their coins or tokens in hopes of earning more free crypto on top of what they've already purchased. But why is there even a need for staking in the first place? Well, you can't just stake any crypto, as it depends on the consensus mechanism. If you'll recall from my earlier videos, a consensus mechanism is how a cryptocurrency validates its transactions. Bitcoin uses proof of work, and Ethereum now uses proof of stake. On cryptocurrencies that don't use proof of work, there is no staking, so don't fall for anything that claims you can stake your Bitcoin. Since Ethereum switched over its consensus mechanism from proof of work to proof of stake, it can now be staked on exchanges that support it. Coinbase has and promises 4.56 annual percentage yield for locking up your Ethereum. Now, staking a crypto allows that currency to be used in order to validate other transactions across the network. This mechanism claims to be more efficient and faster than proof of work with lowered fees. However, there are pros and cons to both. Regardless, the reason why the SEC fined Kraken $30 million was because in their eyes, staking is akin to the sale of unregistered securities. As you may already know, it is a bad thing if the SEC labels crypto as an unregistered security. In order to have a win, crypto needs to be treated and seen as a commodity instead. In addition to the $30 million fine, the SEC mandated that Kraken must end all of its staking services immediately for all US customers. The only exception was any Ethereum that was already staked, which will remain locked up until the completion of Ethereum's Shanghai upgrade, which is when it will be unlocked. For the record, no one is exactly certain on when that date will be. While staking is seen as a great way to passively earn more crypto, it is clear that the SEC views it as a violation. They did this using the Howey test, which refers to a Supreme Court case where it was used to identify if a transaction is an investment contract. If a transaction is deemed to be an investment contract, it is considered a security in the eyes of the SEC and not a commodity. Now, the Howey test is composed of 4 elements: an investment of money, in a common enterprise, a reasonable expectation of profit, and derived from the efforts of others. It is worth noting that certain courts have different interpretations of each of these elements, but the important thing is that a transaction is considered a security only if it satisfies all 4 elements of the test. Now, critics of cryptocurrency argue that most projects fall underneath this umbrella, with the head of the SEC, Gary Gensler, infamously stating that all cryptos aside from Bitcoin are a security. Ironically enough, the reason why the SEC views Bitcoin as a commodity is because Bitcoin is sufficiently decentralized. There is no one figure or group of developers that can be pinpointed by the Howey test as a reasonable expectation of profits derived from the efforts of others. This, of course, fuels the narrative that there is no second best and that Bitcoin is ultimately the best crypto. While it is definitely decentralized and has a large first mover advantage, it is also important not to overlook the value that altcoins can bring to the table. Either way, Bitcoin is seen as the safest cryptocurrency for a reason, and many institutions will favor it first before looking at other cryptos. This is why everyone always recommends having Bitcoin to be the largest percentage of your crypto portfolio. Now, moving away from Kraken, the SEC also has set its sights on Paxos Trust Company, which is the firm responsible for minting Binance's exchange stablecoin BUSD. On February 13th, they were ordered to stop minting, and Paxos responded by saying it would stop issuing new BUSD on February 21st, but it would continue to support and redeem those tokens until at least February 2024. In a bit of a twist, Paxos claims that its decision to stop minting Binance's stablecoin was not the result of the SEC, but rather that their relationship with Binance no longer aligned with their strategic priorities. Binance Exchange, of course, insists that it will continue to support BUSD indefinitely. For our next headline, US-based stock exchange IEX is apparently in talks with Coinbase to create a fully regulated crypto platform. The origin of this idea is quite strange. Initially, it was Sam Bankman-Fried from failed crypto exchange FTX who joined IEX chairman Brad Katsuyama to work with Gary Gensler of the SEC to create this federally approved exchange. Obviously, if you've been following this channel and crypto news, you know what happened to FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. Despite that, it seems that Mr. Katsuyama from IEX still pressed onward with his discussions with Mr. Gensler and sought out a new partner, which is rumored to be Coinbase. I'm not too sure about a federally regulated crypto exchange, but it might be considered a step in the right direction for institutional investors who are eager for pro-crypto guidance. Now, speaking of Coinbase, they posted a cryptic video on Twitter on the morning of February 22nd. The 6-second long clip is merely a black screen where a blue dot fades in, then fades out, with the date 2/23/23 appearing. The caption for the tweeted video clip also says the same date, signifying an announcement of some kind. Could they be announcing their partnership with IEX? Unlikely, I think, but I'll be keeping my eyes peeled for what they announce tomorrow. I won't be able to report on it in this video at the time of filming because today is February 22nd and I probably won't release this video until February 25th or so. Now, for the last couple headlines, the FOMC meeting minutes from the February 1st meeting were released, with the main takeaway being that more interest rate hikes are in store for the majority of this year, if not all of it. People are speculating, of course, but the general consensus is that March could bring about a 0.5% rate hike instead of the 0.25% that we saw in February. As for the state of Bitcoin throughout all of this, we saw that small rally near the beginning of the year, but now it appears to be having some trouble as we approach the 25,000 mark. Bulls say Bitcoin is either consolidating before its next move up, and bears say that this was always a bull trap and we are headed down for a painful ride. Remember to ignore the short-term noise and remember to have conviction in what your long-term strategy is. Regardless of the bearish scenarios, there are also no shortages of bullish developments. Hong Kong announced 2 days ago that they want to become a crypto hub by proposing rules that would let retail investors invest in large cap tokens on licensed exchanges. Now, this seems to directly contradict mainland China's harsh stance on crypto, where crypto transactions are outright banned. It is possible that Hong Kong is trying to pave the way for mainland China and crypto by first experimenting and testing it out, but then again, it's possible that this will go nowhere and get shut down by mainland China. For our last headline, the cryptocurrency Anchor partners with Microsoft to offer enterprise node services and also partners with Tencent to develop a full suite of blockchain API services. Disclaimer, I do hold Anchor. Now, news of these partnerships sent the price of Anchor skyrocketing over 73%, sending the price from 3 cents to nearly 6 cents. Anchor is enjoying success due to the fact that it has liquid staking capabilities, which are not currently subject to the SEC's war against traditional staking. So what's the major difference between liquid staking and traditional staking? It's really quite simple. In liquid staking, your money is liquid, which means you can still access and withdraw your funds, while in traditional staking, your funds are usually locked up until the vesting period is over or when a network upgrade is complete. Your crypto is essentially held hostage with traditional staking, much akin to locking money away in a certificate of deposit account. While I used to dabble in a bit of traditional staking before the market took a turn, I no longer partake in it as I prefer to have control of my crypto at all times, from the time that I buy it on a centralized exchange to when I send it over to cold storage. Well, that's all for this one, guys. I hope you learned something new today. Dom and I genuinely appreciate your support. We thank you, and as always, reach out with feedback so we can make Coffee and Cryptos better for you. We are super excited to start creating more content for you guys as my master's degree program comes to an end. The plan is to return to 2 videos per week, one with Dom and one with me every Thursday and Friday, with YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels going out every Saturday and Sunday. We will keep you updated of any changes, but that's the rough plan currently. I'll catch you all on the next one. See you around.